All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to do a deep dive into your business and strategy plans to ensure that your 2024 real estate goals are met. Right? Like I want to make sure that your business is growing, scaling, and thriving even amongst these more challenging economic times that we are in. Look, we've experienced a lot of changes in the real estate market over the last 18 to 24 months. The economy is going through a difficult, tough time. Most real estate agents, team leaders, and business owners' businesses are on the decline. They're either staying flat, they're either staying stagnant, or they're starting to decline or have declined, right? So how to shift those things around, how to continue to grow, scale, and thrive regardless of the marketplace, and ensure, again, that your 2024 goals are met. Look, the reality is this, is just because the economy is contracting, just because real estate transaction volume is contracting, does not mean or give you permission to partake in that. So unless you're okay, if you are okay with your business staying stagnant and not growing, or if you are okay with staying in the status quo, or if you are okay with your business declining, then okay, these things aren't going to necessarily be of use or importance to you. But if you're like me and you're not okay with that bullshit, which I got to imagine if you're listening to the GSD Mode, the Get Shit Done Mode podcast, like you're not okay with that, like you are somebody that's driven, that's committed to constant growth, and you want to grow, scale, and expand, not just survive or not just, have your business decline and go through that pain. So we're going to break this down, and it's I don't want to say it's a complex process because it's not, but it's a multi-step process. So I'm going to walk you through these 6 different steps throughout this process that I recommend that you do. In each one of these, it all comes to the same, each one of these is a different piece of the puzzle, so that way we can complete the overall puzzle when it comes to ensuring, again, that we go out there and create an epic 2024. Okay, with that being said, let's just dive on into these 6 different steps that I want to walk you through. Okay, step number 1 is to make sure that you have extreme clarity on what is that you want, why you want it, why it's important to you. Now, if you've watched or listened to this podcast for a long time, you hear me talk about this all the damn time. But I want to challenge you on this and make sure that, again, you are investing that time to have extreme clarity on what you want, why you want it, why it's important to you. Because what I find is only about 1% of those in this industry, 1% of human beings out there that exist walking around this planet actually have this type of clarity. Clarity is power, but let me just break this down to you in a way that's helpful, useful, where you can understand this. Is look, if you do not know where it is that you want to go, it's easy to identify where we're at. But if we do not know where we want to go, then it's an impossibility to reverse architect or reverse engineer the architectural plans to get us from where we're at to where we want to go. It creates vagueness, right? And then from there, like we're going to be taking those actions each and every single day. Now, the problem that most people have is because they don't know where they want to go, so they're unable to reverse engineer those architectural plans. So then every daily action that they're taking now is taking with intentional action, right? Well, then from there, they end up building themselves accidentally into a metaphorical prison versus the metaphorical empire that they want to go out there and build. So know what you want, why it's important to you. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you got to have some big compelling purpose or some big compelling why. Just, hey, man, in a perfect world, if I could snap my fingers, let me just ask you this right now. If you could snap your fingers and have the perfect real estate business built, whatever that timeline is, maybe it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, get that perfect business built, what would that look like? How much money would you be making? What would you be doing on a day-to-day basis? What would your involvement be in your real estate business? Right? And just go out there and dream a little bit with that. Again, however long, maybe that takes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the timeline is. Time's going to pass by anyway. Right? Whatever that timeline is, what would that dream real estate business look like for you? Then from there, we take that a layer deeper now. Now that you have clarity on that, or you have some idea of that, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to know exact, you can have a, kind of a rough outline, rough idea. That's better than nothing. But then from there, 2024 exists to get you one step closer to making that a reality. So now the next question I want to ask yourself, and hopefully you got a pen and paper out and you're taking notes on this stuff, or at least thinking deeply about this stuff, and you can always revisit this afterwards and rewatch this or re-listen to this. But okay, if by the end of 2024, what is the one most important essential outcome that you must accomplish by the end of 2024 to make 2024 a win for you? Now, 2024 exists to get you one step closer to that eventual success that you want to create in this business. But right now, what is that thing? So you're sitting there New Year's Eve by yourself. What is the one most important outcome that must happen? So you're high-fiving yourself being like, shit, I did it, man. And not outcomes, outcome. All right, so what is the singular most important outcome that this is accomplished in 2024? It solves all your other problems, all your other pains, at least this, for right now in your business and in your life. Or we're speaking to business, but business exists to go out there and create the lives that we want to create, right? What does that look like? So, and that's going to be different for each of us. It could be, if you're an individual agent, maybe that's, hey man, if I make 300 grand GCI this year, if I make 500 grand, and again, it's going to be different depending on what your goals are, where you're at in your business, and it's not my job to tell you what your goals should be. Only you can come up with this for yourself. But what is that singular outcome? And I can't stress this enough. Outcome, not outcomes. What is the singular outcome? The reason being is everything else we're going to put in place here, all these other steps are going to be your business plan, your strategy plan, even your tracking system, your skill set plan, all these other things that we're going to talk about here today. Those are then all centralized with that laser focus on that outcome that you want. Like, how do you take, okay, if I take this piece of paper right here, I go put it on the concrete outside, it's a sunny day. Well, dude, nothing's going to happen to it. It's probably just going to get blown around, get dirty, cars run over it. But if I take that same piece of paper, same sunny day, same piece of paper, put a magnifying glass on it, because it's going to have such intense laser focus, right? Through that magnifying glass, through that sun, right? Same piece of paper, same street, same, all things being the same. But that laser focus is going to cause that bitch to light up on fire. This is how you light your business on fire in a positive way, is by having that centralized laser focus on that one important thing that you must accomplish that solves all your other problems. Right? Because this is where we're going to centralize again and focus your business plan, your strategy plan, your tracking system, and your skill set plan, all the things that we're going to go deeper on here today. Okay, then step number 2 of this. This is about the pain and pleasure, right? The most important thing to understand when it comes to sales is all about pain and pleasure, right? So you're experiencing a pain, you want to get out of that pain, you want to get to the pleasure, whatever that thing is or that product is that you are acquiring, right, gets you from that pain to the pleasure that you want. Same thing with our clients. Let's just say it's a buyer-seller client. Right, my job as a real estate professional is to get them from the, their living situation, current living situation is creating a pain. They want to get out of that pain to the new living situation that creates the pleasure they're looking for. My job is to get them from that pain to that pleasure, and he or she that articulates that on the highest level goes out there and is the one that's going to be victorious of winning over that client. Same thing with agent recruiting, same thing with all of this, right? So it doesn't matter if we're selling real estate or if you're selling purses, perfumes, cars, it's all pain and pleasure, right? So with that being said, what's the most important sell you can ever make in your business or in your life is selling yourself on your overall goals, making your goals a reality, and that you are capable and possible of making your goals a reality. This is the big sell, right? A lot of people go out there and mentally masturbate by writing out goals, and but they never do anything with them, right? Because they're not truly sold on them. And they haven't facilitated, the experience they need in their own lives to go out there and make those things a reality. So here's where I'm going with this. And what I want you to know and understand, okay, we already talked about the most important sells to sell yourself on your dreams, goals, and visions, and that you are capable of making your goals a reality. But the other truth that we just need to know is that the vast majority, like 99.9% of all of us, of human beings, of the population out there, they will not make the necessary changes in their own business and life until the pain of the status quo outweighs the pain of the change that they have to go through to make their goals a reality. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to walk you through an exercise real quick. I want you to, and you can pause this, whatever, but I want you to get out a pen and paper or just, deeply think about this. And again, pause on each step of this. Okay, if your business, whether your business is staying, stagnant, or if your business is declining, which I know a lot of your business is declining right now, if what is taking place right now continues to happen, nothing changes, what you're experiencing right now stays status quo, and you experience this year after year after year for however many years this is, right? What impact does that have on your business, and what impact does that have on you personally, your family, right? So again, this is what I want you to think about. Okay, if you are, because so often, one of the dangers, now it's great to be optimistic, but one of the dangers from overly optimistic people, which I know most of us that jump into, business, into real estate are overly optimistic people. We don't want a business plan off of optimism. Like, I want to be optimistic, but I'm going to deal in realities when it comes to my business plan. We all know that, from Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? So look, things aren't going to get better. And I hear this all the time. Like, on social media, people are like, oh, well, it's been such a challenging year. I hope next year's better. And I'm like, look, I hope it is better for you too. However, hope is not a business plan. Yeah, like I pray, right? But like, one of a saying that I heard years ago that was really powerful to me, for me personally was, God feeds the birds, but God does not put the food in their mouths for them, right? God creates, gives them the skills and gives them the environment to go out there and hunt for the food. But it's up to the bird to hunt. If they don't get out there and hunt, they're going to starve. So yeah, I'm going to pray, but what do I pray? I don't pray like, oh God, give me more deals. It's, hey God, give me the strength, the discipline, the perseverance, the grit, the knowledge, the wisdom that I need to go out there and take the necessary actions to make my goals become a reality, right? So again, hoping, praying, those are not good business plans. Not saying they're not good things to have, but I'm saying they're not good plans to go out there and turn our situation around. So if you don't think different, if you don't operate different, if you don't take different action, if you don't take different levels of action, doing different strategy, whatever, you're going to continue down the same path you're going. And I'm telling you right now, the probability is much, much higher that this economy and what we're experiencing right now is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So what I want you to think about is, okay, if shit does not turn around in your business and in your life right now, what kind of pain does that mean for you in your world? What kind of pain are you experiencing right now? And if this continues, what is the negative consequence, the negative result for that? And I know people are like, oh, well, Josh, you shouldn't think negative. You should think positive. Again, we deal in realities, right? So that's step number one, is I want you to really think about this. Because remember, until the pain of your current situation, the pain of the status quo outweighs the pain that you're going to have to go through of change to make your goals a reality, you're not going to execute on the things that it takes to go out there and make that your goals a reality, right? That's why people, you hear the saying that good is the worst enemy of greatness, because we can get trapped in this thing where things are good enough. So we stop, then you're not doing the necessary actions then to go from good to great, because you get comfortable, right? So if you get comfortable in your own current, level of success or lack of success that you're living in, shit's not going to change and you're going to stay there, right? So that's what I want you to think about. Again, living in that pain, because sales is all pain and pleasure. So right now we got to sell yourself. What is that pain that you are going to continue to experience, in that deep pain? And take it deep. Don't be superficial with yourself. You don't need to share this with anybody. You don't need to comment below and share this with me. You don't need to share this with your significant other. Just write this down. Yeah, right? Okay, maybe I feel like a failure as a father. I feel like a failure as a husband. I feel like a loser as a man, a loser as a human being. My business is coming down. I should be better than this. I know I have more potential than this. Okay, it's whatever. Go deep. This is just for you, right? Now we're going to flip that into the pleasure aspect. Once you've done that, then I want you to live in the pleasure, right? Okay, whatever your outcome is. Okay, once that is accomplished, how and what positive impacts is that going to have on your business and your overall life? From a materialistic standpoint, but then also thinking of internally. Hey, man, maybe that would make me feel better as a father. Maybe it'd make me feel better, more fulfilled as a human being. Maybe make me feel better as a husband. Maybe you feel, going deep. The deeper that you can take this shit, and the more that we can deal in realities on this, and we can live in that pain and pleasure. Because look, the reality is executing it's going to be mundane. It's going to be tedious. It is going to be painful. Right? But you got to be willing to push through that pain. And if the pain of, again, but we're not usually willing to push that pain until we come to grips that the pain of the status quo outweighs the pain of the change. This is why most people see the biggest breakthroughs in their life once they've hit rock bottom. Because they're like, fuck this, dude, life sucks. I'm so, it's like, agents internally on my team, or even coaching clients, or when I was a personal trainer, I had personal trainer clients, it's like when people got to that point of, man, I'm so fed up. I'm so sick of the way things are going. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to go out there and turn my situation around. Boom, that's where amazing shit starts to happen. Now, you can do this, though, visually and on paper, so then you don't have to go hit rock bottom, for you to make these necessary changes, right? So, okay, so second thing, pain and pleasure, and just understanding that and going deep into that. And the deeper that you guys go into this is just, it doesn't help me by you doing this. This is just going to help you. So the more serious that you take this, the more impact it's going to have on your business. All right, so now you know what you want long-term, what success in real estate means for you long-term. You know what the number one outcome is that you must achieve in 2024 for 2024 to be a win. You know the pain and pleasure, right? So you know the pain that if you don't make this goal reality and you stay in the status quo, the negative impact that's going to make you on you and your family. And now you know the pleasure, so the positive impact that by making this goal a reality is going to, make on you and your family. Now we start getting into the planning phase. So the third step of this is now we're going to go out there and business plan. Now I break up my plans into really two different parts. I have my business plan and then I'll have my strategy plan. So right now we're talking about the business plan. So the business plan, your 2024 business plan, my recommendation is here. These are going to be the stats and the numbers, right? So we want to break this down from a 12-month standpoint down to a quarterly standpoint. So every 90 days, down to a monthly, down to a weekly. So you know then every single week and then how many days you're going to be working in that week. So now you break this down to a daily basis of what you must do to win. So this is where, okay, like based off of your numbers, and if you don't know your numbers, you got to figure these out. Like if you haven't been tracking your numbers, don't know your personal numbers. But what I'm trying to accomplish here is if I know what my average commission is, and dealing in realities, don't be like, oh, I'm going to break into luxury this year. I'm going to get my average price point up. Or if you're a team leader broker, oh, I'm going to get my average agent production up. No, deal in realities of what your numbers are right now. Okay, if your average commission, let's just say 10 grand a commission, and you want to make 500 grand in GCI. Okay, well, now we know you need 50 closings in 2024 to make that a reality. Okay, so then now we can break it down to closings on a yearly basis, quarterly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis. Obviously, it wouldn't be not necessarily daily, but you'd have weekly closings. And but then from there, okay, well, how many conversations must you like? So okay, let me take it a step further. So then I'm going to break down how many dials I need to make, how many conversations, how many appointments set. And then from there, how many clients I must make and take to make that a reality. So now I know that on an annual basis, the lead indicators in my business, like I know exactly, the amount of income I got to make, and then all the way down to effort. So how many reach outs, how many conversations, how many appointments set, how many appointment conductions, how many clients to equate to those closings. So these are just going to be, the business plan is where this is where if you're hitting your daily numbers, right? And your daily, weekly, monthly numbers. So that's the math. That's what I use for a business plan, right? Then I'll get asked all the time of, well, how many leads do I need to get then to make those a reality? Well, the answer to that is as many as it takes to make those numbers happen, but this is where, because it just differs, and this is where strategy plan comes into place, where I'll talk about, here in a moment, but based on what your lead conversions are inside your business, right? Like, okay, some leads might convert at 10% or 20%, some might be converting at 1 or 2%, right? So then this is where we can start to break down how many leads per lead source, right, that we need to get, which again, I'll talk about that in a minute. So the overall business plan is just the numbers plan. So each and every day, essentially, how many reach outs, how many conversations, how many appointments set. Those are the biggest 3 KPIs because those are the ones that we can control that I pay attention to in my business planning. That then if I hit those 3 focuses each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every quarter, like then I know, because the only way you're going to win the year, dude, is to win the months. The only way you win the months is to win the weeks. The only way you win the weeks is to win the days. So if I know what I got to do to win each and every day, and I'm focused and obsessed on making sure I'm hitting my daily KPI, stands for key performance indicators, right? Then everything else falls into place. Okay, then the 4th step here is to making sure you got your tracking system in place for 2024. You got to, what's tracked is measured, and what's measured, gets those results. So you got to have a way to measure this. Okay, here's the things that I got to be doing daily. Okay, like how am I doing them? Am I on track? Right? So you got to make sure that you have your tracking system in place. If you are not tracking your data, if you're not tracking your numbers, you are going to fail. Right? Like you might be able to figure out a way to stay in this business. And you might have a good, a couple good years here and there. But if you want to consistently grow your business year over year, and be able to do that in maximizing also, like if you want to maximize your opportunities and also minimize the amount of hours and time that you have to work in this business, tracking is a non-negotiable, right? So make sure that you have your tracking system in place. So then that way you can measure and track that you're on place, to go out there and make your business plan a reality. Okay. Then the 5th step here is your strategy plan. So now this is where we're going to start breaking down, okay, what your lead sources are, what your lead gen and your lead follow-up sources are, what your conversions based on each source is, right? And then, okay, how many of those leads from each source do you need to get into place to make sure that we're making your business plan a reality? So hopefully you know this. Hopefully you're paying attention to this. If you're not running as a great operator, and you need to, this is where tracking becomes so important. So then from there though, what I want you to ask yourself also is, do you need to add additional legs to hit your business numbers? I was having a conversation with somebody the other day who's been in this industry for a long time, but as a lot of you guys know, past client repeat referral business is down just because you've omitted about 50 to 60% of the general public from being able to transact in this given real estate market because the economy is so fucking out of whack and inflation and, whatever. And she's wanting to go, I think, I don't know, 30 deals is where she's currently at and wanting to go to 60. So as I'm talking with this, I'm like, but all our business is coming from past client repeat referral business. And I'm like, okay. So it sounds to me, and she was doing a good job there with getting that repeat referral business. That was just down because of the economic climate that we are in. Like most people's is down, but you can't take that from 30 to 60 deals, right? Unless you're totally neglecting it. There's always nuances here. But then from there, I was like, okay, we got to add some different legs to your business to make up the deficit, right? This 30 deal deficit that we need to make up to make your goals a reality. So that's what I mean by additional legs. Do you have enough opportunities with the lead gen sources, with the lead gen strategies that you're currently deploying to make your goal a reality? And sometimes that is a yes, right? Sometimes you just got to, you got to do more of it and there's more opportunities there. But then there's times, a lot of times, especially in a market like this, where no, we got to, add a few different, spokes to the wheel, right? To go out there and do that. So that's number one, is ask yourself, do you need to add additional legs to hit your overall business? Then from there, do you need to tweak any of your strategies for the current market? Is there anything that you've been doing that is dropping off of a cliff based on the current market? And do you need to tweak those or omit those altogether and just adjust your overall strategy? Because everything works, nothing doesn't, right? So, okay, were you getting good results and now you're not getting results? Right? So this happens all the time. Maybe you're calling expireds. Historically, you've been doing great with expireds. Over the last 5 years, you were doing good, but all of a sudden now, boom, you hit a block wall. Well, I'm telling you right now, it's not expireds that are the problem, right? It's that we are now in a challenging economic time, and you probably didn't learn and develop the skill sets when it comes to how to navigate effective conversations. Well, when the market was good and there's a bunch of people buying and selling, you could have a low skill set and get okay conversions. Now today, that's not going to be the case, right? You got to have an extremely high skill set, especially when you got more agents chasing lesser transactions. Well, that is a thing that isn't a, we got to ban expires, not do expires. That is a thing that you need to then enhance your strategy, enhance your skill set around that thing. So that's the other question I want to have. So number one is, do you need to add additional legs, or can you scale up what you're doing right now? Is there enough opportunities with the lead sources and the strategies that you have right now to go out there and make your goal, hit your numbers as a reality based on your business plan? Or do you need to add additional? And then from there, do you need to tweak any of the strategies that you're doing? Let's just say you're doing Zillow leads, right? If you're getting a 5% conversion, okay, well, that needs some tweaking. Right? Like there's no reason you shouldn't be getting at least a 10, but you can go out there and get 20. Right? Like if you're committed to this, so what kind of tweaks do your current strategies need? Okay. And then the sixth and final step here is your skill set plan. Now this becomes extremely important. Please listen to this because all of these are important, but this one is probably of the most importance, if you will, right now. Because again, we are in economic winter, and we're stepping deeper and deeper to this economic winter. So it's more important. Skill sets matter now as much as any time in my almost 19 years of doing this that I've seen. But here's where this is like fishing with dynamite right now. Is 95% or more of our industry never had to develop skill sets, to go out there and navigate in challenging markets, because we just came out of the longest bull market in recorded history. Means that 2012 to 2022 was the greatest just boom overall climate. We'll probably never see that again in our careers, in our lifetimes, where you could be low-level skill set in this industry. You could just kind of show up, kind of work hard, kind of be consistent, and go out there and make 6+ figures. And so many people got conditioned to that, that they never had to develop the skill sets to go out there and take this thing to the next level. So you got to master your overall sales skills, right? You got to master how to go out there and sell, how the consumer wants to be sold here today. You got to master your ability to identify and overcome objections and problems that people are facing. You know, like you got to understand human behavior and go out there and master that. And when it comes to sales, I'm talking about sales all the way down the sales funnel. It's not just, generating leads, and then it's not just following up with leads to convert those into appointments. It's all the way down, right? Okay, I've got to master my skills so I can maximize and optimize the number of leads that I'm generating per source. Then I got to develop my skills to maximize and optimize my amount of conversions and set as many of those leads into appointments set as possible. Well, then I got to maximize and optimize my appointment set at the highest conversion rate to conduct those. Okay, well, then I got to be an appointment conduction machine, meaning like a world-class listing presenter and world-class buyer consultation, presenter to go out there and turn those into clients. Then I got to master the leading the process to get them under contract. Then I got to master leading that portion of the process to get them closed. And then it doesn't stop there, right? They now become our number one lead source, and now it's repeating that overall process. So what I want you to ask yourself right now is, what skills am I missing that would make the biggest overall impact that are necessary for me to go out there and make sure that my 2024 goals are reality? And look, we all have different weaknesses and strengths, so it's going to be different for all of us, based on this question. But I mean, the one that all of you need to be able to go out there and when it comes to your overall sales skills, like you got to master these, right? Like you got to understand how the consumer wants to be sold today, how to speak to them, how to convert at the highest possible level, how to keep these conversations moving forward, right? You want to be able to sell in the way that the human beings want to be sold to today, natural style of selling, right? And be able to convert those at a high level. That is so extremely important. One of the reasons why we're slaying it right now today, even in highly competitive sources like Expires and FSBOs, is because now that, our conversions are just skyrocketing when everybody else's are going down for the most part. And why? Because we have the skills that our competitors don't to navigate in these more challenging times, right? So when people come and say, well, let's just say when they expired, we wanted to sell, but with interest rates being so high, we just have to hold off now. Well, that is an extremely easy objection to overcome. But most of our industry just don't have the skill sets to be able to do that. So I want you to ask yourself right now is, what are the skills that you are lacking inside your business that you need to master and you need to learn? And these skills, you guys, don't take a long time. Like with my coaching clients, happens all the time where, we start working, I'll be like, okay, well, here's the skills that you're missing right now. Here's what we need to get dialed in immediately, because I want to always be focusing on what is the thing that will lead to the most immediate result. And sometimes I'll get coaching clients like, well, what do you think timeline is that? Like 60, 90 days? I'm like, no, dude, like we're talking like if you don't have this dialed in within the next 4 days, 5 days, week max, like there's something else going on here. Like this shit is quick. This shit doesn't need to take. I know there's so many coaches and gurus that try to drag this stuff out and take it forever so they keep collecting your money. It's all bullshit. Like this shit can be learned fast, acquired fast, if you're committed to doing so. All right, so to recap these, we got one, clarity on your overall goals, identifying that number one outcome that you must go out there and create. Second, your own internal pain and pleasure. Remember that you will not push through all the change and the difficulty of change that you need to get a different result unless the pain of the status quo outweighs that pain of the change you need to go through. Third is business planning. That's where we're putting your numbers together. Fourth is your tracking system. Fifth is your strategy plan. Last one is your skill set plan. Now, if you want to ensure that you've got these in place, that you have all the foundations, you got your processes, your systems, your tracking systems in place, to make sure that you have the most effective tried and true lead gen strategies and follow-up strategies and conversion strategies in place to go out there and dominate your 2024 goals, and to also have the abundance of daily support from me personally to ensure that you cannot fail and ensure that you will crush your 2024 goals. You can go to gsdmode.com. You can either click on the coaching tab, or at the very top of gsdmode.com is a banner where you can schedule a 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally, where I can walk you through. We'll spend some time talking about your business, where your business is at, where your goals are at, what you're doing, what you need to do, overcome, where you're at right now. So just think of this as, just a in-depth coaching session where I'm going to walk you through, what my recommendations are to do and help you pinpoint what those true problems are. And then we can also discuss if I have some possible solutions that might help you ensure that you are dominating your goal. And look, like I said, everything that I do is zero pressure. So whether my coaching programs are for you or not, that's okay. Hey, we can still be friends. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to manipulate you or try to trick you to whip out your credit card on that call. Look, if it's for you, great. If not, that's okay too. I've got a very strict, absolute no pressure policy inside my real estate business. So if you want to ensure your 2024 goals are hit and you're struggling with this stuff and you don't know how to put these pieces together, I highly recommend that you go book that 100% zero pressure strategy Zoom discovery call with me right now. Again, gsdmode.com. Right at the top, you'll see a banner to be able to do that, or you can click on the menu bar which says coaching, or the menu item bar that says coaching. There'll be a button in there for you to go out there and schedule that. All right, guys, I hope that this is helpful. Keep crushing it. Keep dominating. I wish you all the absolute best for 2024, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.